For this video, we're going to be focusing on what we've been doing in class, but taking it a little bit differently. So in class, we talked about how to find the arc length or the sector area, okay, but we're going to now talk about what to do when you're asked to find something different than that. Okay, so you're not always going to be asked to find the arc length or the sector area. Sometimes you may be asked to find the radius of the circle, or the angle measure of the arc, or the angle measure of the central angle. So we're going to be looking at how to do that. And we're going to be using the formulas that are on the formula sheet that I gave you in class. So let's look at this first question. Given the length of arc AB is 10 pi, what is the radius of the circle? Okay, so the formula sheet says that arc length is equal to 2 pi r theta divided by 360. So in this case, we're going to be looking for the radius of the circle. Okay, so this is our unknown. We know that the arc length is 10 pi. So let's plug in everything that we know. So N for arc length is going to be 10 pi. Then we have 2 pi. We got to leave R because that's what we're looking for. Theta is always the angle measure of the arc. So we know that our angle measure of our arc is 100. And that's divided by 360. So what we have to do now is solve and get R on the side by itself. So R has to be by itself. So we're going to start off by just doing algebra. We got to get that 360 out from underneath, just like we've done before. So we multiply both sides times 360. That gives me 3600 pi equals 2 pi r 100. Okay, now again, we're working to get r by itself, so we can divide by both of our numbers here, the 2 and the 100. So we can divide by 2 and 100, so that will cancel out the 2 and the 100. So dividing by, well, we know that 2 times 100 is 200. Again, we leave pi alone. We talked about that in class, so 3600 divided by 200 gives me 18. So now I have 18 pi equals pi r. I'm almost there, but I got to get r by itself, so I have to get rid of pi on that side. So I'm going to divide both sides by pi. Well, pi divided by pi is going to cancel out. I'm left with r equals 18. So my radius is 18. So once you plug into the formula, all you're doing is algebra. So let's look at another one. Given the length of WX is 2 pi, so I'm going to write that on here. This length is 2 pi. And the radius is 4.5. Let's put that on there. What is the degree measure of the arc? So that means that we're going to look for the degree measure, which is going to be our theta. So since we're looking for length, or we're given length, so we're dealing with circumference, look for the formula for the arc length of a circle. So that is arc length equals 2 pi r theta divided by 360. And now we're going to plug in everything that we know. So our arc length is going to be 2 pi. So then we got the 2 and pi, and then r is 4.5. Theta is what we're looking for this time. So we just put theta in there, divided by 360, and now it's time to do some basic algebra. Multiply both sides times 360, so those cancel out. 360 times 2, I'm going to move that over here, so 720 pi equals 2 pi 4.5 theta. Well, I'm just going to go ahead and divide by everything that is not theta. So I'm going to divide by 2 pi 4.5 2 pi 4.5. So my pi's are going to cancel out. Everything over here is going to cancel out. So I'm left with 70 divided by 2 times 4.5. So 70 divided by 9. Okay, so that gives me a 7.7. Okay, well, obviously we can't have that decimal. Okay, so I got to back up. I know that I've got 720 divided by 9, so I'm going to simplify that fraction. I did some miscalculating and I paused the video, but 720 divided by 9 equals 80. So 80 equals theta. So that's all we have left. So 80 equals theta. So your degree measure of the arc is 80 degrees. One more. Given the area of the yellow sector is 16 pi, so this is 16 pi, and the radius is 6, what's the degree measure of arc LM? So that would be this theta measure. So this time it's area of the sector. So that would be area of the sector equals pi r squared theta divided by 360. So let's plug in. I know that this is 16 pi equals pi 6 squared theta divided by 360. Multiply both sides times 360. So 16 times 360 is going to give me, I'm going to move over here, 5,760 pi equals pi 36 theta. I'm going to divide both sides by pi 36. Okay, my pi's cancel out. 5760 divided by 36 gives me that theta equals 160. So the degree measure of arc LM is 160 degrees. So you can see all we're doing is plugging into the formula and solving for different pieces.